for the original Sheik, go in the description of this video. He's one of my favorite wrestlers. I've only seen two of the Dark Side of the Ring so far this season. They've been posted on Daily Motion. I don't have Vice. It was the Sheik one that I watched today. And I forget the other one, Billy Jack Haynes, who it just came out, and I just did a report on it. He was declared unfit to stand trial today, so his trial, which is supposed to happen in December, has been delayed. But the Sheik, one of my favorite wrestlers ever. He has a mystique about him, a realness about him. You can suspend your disbelief with him. Other than Brock Lesnar, there's very few characters like that today that are larger than life. One thing I'll point out for the people that keep paying Abdullah the Butcher GoFundMe, by the way, Rocky Johnson has said it. He was one of the first millionaires of Japanese wrestling. He had a decades-long career, even wrestled for WCW, owned numerous restaurants. He's still doing regular autograph appearances. He's having toys made of him. If you guys want to still keep paying him his GoFundMes, he also has done numerous Dark Side of the Rings now. He's in the Sheik's Dark Side of the Ring, and it's a new episode because he's lost weight. So you get paid for these. I mean, I got paid $1,000 for mine when they use footage, which they used footage of mine in 3 of the episodes. They pay. Supposedly, they pay Billy Jack Haynes good sum of money for him. I know Abdullah's not doing it for free. Kevin Sullivan got paid. Don't be convinced, anybody, that Abdullah the Butcher's poor. I'm just going to state that right now. Next time he goes whining that he needs money in a GoFundMe. He's a worker. He copied the original Sheik, and he was the best copier of the original Sheik. He was the most successful copier of the original Sheik. And the second most successful copier of the original Sheik would be Sabu, who did a lot more acrobatically than the Sheik. Jim Cornette says it in this documentary. He never saw the Sheik climb to the third rope. But Sabu definitely became an icon in wrestling and was very similar to his uncle. Sabu is in this. It came out the week after he died, or maybe the week of he died. I'm not exactly sure. But it's kind of sad seeing Sabu in this. Although, again, I mean, some people took offense that I said maybe it's better for Sabu. And although there were some parts of his personality that were distasteful and he was careless with me in some ways, there were other ways that we kind of bonded, including he knew I was a big fan of his uncle, and he knew I was a big fan of his. But I will say this: one of the sad parts about the Sheik is he was poor in his later years, and he still had to wrestle in his later years, and he didn't necessarily have the greatest later years. And what I said in my initial obituary of Sabu is, from what I understand, he didn't have a lot of money. Sabu, at 60 years old now, he just had to wrestle a match despite being extremely hurt. I know when he wrestled me 3 years ago, he personally told me he was in a lot of pain. And when he showed me the knife in his boot and told me not to stiff him, which I wasn't planning on it anyways, he said, I only took this match because I needed the money. So, I mean, this is a guy that really, he's not going to go work at Walmart. He didn't have his money saved. He's only 60. In some ways, it's better that he just passed. He lost his wife for the love of his life. I mean, was he really going to have the greatest next 20 to 30 years living in pain, wondering how he's going to eat his next meal? That was what I was saying about Sabu, because it doesn't sound like the Sheik had the greatest end of his life. And as wrestlers, I respect the hell out of both of them. And I'm just explaining that to explain I didn't mean offense by that comment. Sometimes it's better the way that Sabu passed away quietly in his sleep 3 weeks after having a very memorable match right before the Sheik documentary comes out. It's very poetic. Dory Funk Jr. was in this. I don't think he added that much other than saying that the Japanese fans like violence and the Sheik definitely provided violence. Dave Drayson, Supermouth Dave Drayson, one of the Sheik's pretty much last manager, helped a lot in the Detroit wrestling territory office. I'm actually going to be interviewing him next Wednesday at 3 p.m. Eastern, right here on the Hannibal TV. And there's other interviews with him if you click on my link in the description. But we're going to talk in more detail about this next Wednesday. So subscribe to the Hannibal TV if you're not subscribed. Dave Drayson added a lot to it. Jim Cornette, he always talks a little bit negatively about the Sheik. As I said, for Cornette, I know other people have thrown feud on his fire with him and I. At this point in my life, I really I don't carry any more hatred towards Jim Cornette. He does what he does, riles people up, and is successful at it. And as I said, I think people were throwing fuel on the fire of both sides of the Jim Cornette feud, which made him make up certain stuff about me that certainly was not true. But that's not a grudge that I'm going to hold against people forever, because in the end, I really don't care. I've moved on. But yeah, he always likes to throw shots about the Sheik keeping himself on top too long. I understand where Cornette's coming from there. But overall, I liked it. They talked about something that Sabu talked about in my interview with Sabu about the Sheik, where they were in the ring that caught on fire and they almost died because the fire was sucking all the oxygen out of the air, and they all got burns. But overall, the thing I like about the Sheik is how scary he was and how he makes you suspend your disbelief. How real. I mean, you don't look at him and be like, "Oh, what a cheesy gimmick, the Sheik." I mean, he could scare you. He was very successful. Yeah, much like I hear that Carlos Colon had a gambling problem, which is one of the reasons he had pay issues, and WWC had a lot of financial difficulties over the years. I mean, it's similar with the Sheik. Apparently, he had a gambling issue, which they go into in this. Barbara Sabu was in a lot of pain. Was in an extreme amount of pain. Ivan, I haven't seen the Eddie Gilbert one. Now that I've found, maybe now that I've said where they're all posted, Vice will have it taken down. But I'll go back and watch some of the other ones now that I found where they're posted. But let me know what you thought about it in the comments. Overall, this is one of the better ones. This is one of the better Dark Side of the Rings. I thought it was overall very fair. They didn't really seem to have an agenda like they have in some of them. And again, Abdullah Butcher still out there making money. Don't fall for his foolish working the fans that he's broke.